Hi, and welcome to our quick overview of sending a test fax transaction or a synthetic transaction in the Infront RightFax Management Pack from Infront Consulting Group. So today, this very short video is going to focus simply on sending a test fax. And to see that, if we go into the alert that was raised from the failure and we look at Health Explorer, what we'll be able to see here on the State Changes tab is that we have built out a monitor that leverages the RightFax COM API that is currently in an unhealthy state. If we go into the monitor properties of this is where we can configure this synthetic transaction. And we'll see that obviously there's a healthy and unhealthy state. Where we want to look is at the configuration information, which is all customizable through the override tab, which we'll look at in a minute. So this test fax transaction allows you to use or not use NT authentication, depending on whether you are or aren't using it in your RightFax environment. It runs on an interval of 5 minutes or 300 seconds, and it has a fax send timeout, all of which is configurable, the default being 5,000 seconds, and a script timeout of 5 minutes. Here we're entering the run as account. So if we do need authentication, we're putting that in through a pre-configured run as account within SCOM. That's an account that would be, say, an Active Directory account or a RightFax account that would have a password, and we would just enter that once. It would be saved, secured in SCOM. And if the fax is not received within 15,000 seconds, then we'll generate an error to this. So let's look at how we would go about configuring an override for this monitor. So here you can see that we can configure the severity level. I'd change that in an override from critical, which is the default, to warning in this case, but we can remove that override. And here you can see the count limit. So we're looking for a count of 10, how many times we've tried to send a fax before the alert or error is raised. The fax receive timeout, which was the 15,000 seconds that we saw before, the fax send timeout, which was the 5,000 seconds. And then we would go about configuring a fax to number or a fax to user, and we would populate that within the override based upon the user account or user ID that we wanted to use and the channel we wanted to use within RightFax. It's set to generate an alert by default, and then the other information below, as well as using NT authentication. So here we're not using NT authentication, but all of this information is configurable, and through a couple of small changes, you can quickly and easily set up your RightFax MP to send test faxes to give you the perspective of health from those individuals either inside or outside the organization that are attempting to use RightFax within your organization. So if a test fax is coming in from outside and it's failing, this could simulate that. It could also simulate it failing internally. And if faxes are simply queued but not being sent right away due to a significant increase in volume or an unusual volume spike, the timeout may occur and you'll be alerted to that queues are building up as well. And if that alert does come in and indicates faxes aren't sent, you can also look at the performance information, which also references the RightFax or leverages the RightFax COM API to see faxes received and faxes sent. This is counter information that isn't exposed through Windows Perfmon that we pull out using the RightFax COM API. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen here around how to stay on top of and proactively manage your RightFax environment using synthetic fax transactions in the Infront RightFax MP. For more information, please contact Infront at mpsales@infrontconsulting.com, or you can find more information in the software section of our website at www.infrontconsulting.com. Thanks.